Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see a lot of great faces here. Excellent. Let me introduce myself. Hassan, thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, I want to thank Asim for this lovely platform. Thank you very much. It was absolutely amazing, and for some wonderful presentations. Really appreciate that. All right, let me tell a little bit about myself. So I'm Regional Sales Director for ORBCOMM, and today we will be talking about industrial IoT solutions. So earlier we discussed about some innovative platforms, some amazing platforms which gives you decision-making capability, which helps you make informed decisions. Today we will be talking about some more industrial applications which are in remote locations. And we still need to get them connected, and we have some very interesting technologies which helps you connect and make the best use of it. So let me tell you a little bit about ORBCOMM. So ORBCOMM is a 30-year-old company. We are an industrial IoT company. We help our customers, our system integrators, make informed decisions. ORBCOMM works with a number of leading companies like Honeywell. We work with number of large system integrators, ABB, and so on. Here in the region, we work with number of telco operators and help them bridge the communication gap. Just to give you a little bit more information about ORBCOMM, we have 2.4 million assets connected globally. We are operating in 160 countries, and annually we are processing 37 billion messages. How we do that? So let's take an example of this fleet manager here. A fleet manager sitting from his laptop or from his control center can get real-time asset visibility of its vehicles, can get machine health information, can get pipeline monitoring information, or even if it is for vessels on remote locations, anywhere in the world, and you need to get connectivity, you need to get location information, you can get all of that using satellite technologies, and we will be talking more about that. Now, how all of this can get connected? As Asim mentioned earlier, you need a very intelligent, smart platform which can help you do data analytics and reporting. This helps our customers do and make informed decisions. And to do that, what do you need? You need connectivity. Either it's LoRaWAN, either it's cellular solutions, or it's satellite solutions, or hybrid solutions. And that will bring you all the data you require. And then the third thing which is required is the telematics devices and sensors, which goes on your assets. Either they are fixed or mobile. And that brings you all of the information from land, from sea, and from air into your platform where you and your customers can make informed decisions. We got a number of strategic customers, governments all around the world. We have a number of marquee customers, and we can talk more about that during the breaks. So let me tell you about satellite IoT. What can we do with satellite IoT solutions? So we basically bridge the communication gap when you are operating in remote locations. Or we can also offer you redundancy solutions for some of the critical infrastructure or border patrol, for example, when you are operating in remote locations where terrestrial network is not sufficient and you're looking for a redundant solution where you need an emergency response and immediate response to take actions as and when it is required. Here is, for those who are not aware of how a satellite network really operates. So you may have multiple different sensors, and you can see out on the board so many sensors. We have a wall of IoT outside, thanks to Asim. A number of interesting sensors which are out there, which will be connecting to these mobile satellite terminals. These satellite terminals will send and receive messages. They are two-way communication. They will send message and receive messages. And this all happened in few seconds, where you immediately get all of this information to the user, and they can get that information and can take immediate actions as needed. Now, there are a number of different satellites. Let me help you and give you some more information on that. So there is OG2, which is a satellite operated by ORBCOMM, and there are about 10 satellites up in the orbit. And this is a geostationary satellite, which is used for AIS communication in the maritime world, where you can get global satellite connectivity, even beyond terrestrial network. And then there are some other satellites, like ISAT Data Pro, which is operated by Viasat, and it is developed by ORBCOMM as well, which gives you a complete end-to-end coverage. And there are a number of different applications for fleet management, for transport logistics, for maritime utilities, which are out there, and I can give you more details on that. And then let's come to narrowband IoT solutions. And in narrowband IoT, there are LEO networks like Iridium, Globalstar. And in LEO, what is required, and I was discussing it earlier, you need to have so many satellites because it's a mesh topology. So you need to have so many satellites up in the orbit in order to get the connectivity, to get a low latency and an instant connectivity as required. Whereas in geostationary, your satellites are stationary, and there are a number of players like Viasat, Thuraya, Ligardo, and they give you complete connectivity with a very low latency, and you can do a lot of communications, broadband communications with that. Now, in terms of latency, this is very important, which we need to know. And with geostationary, they always outperform LEOs because you will get very, very quick message on the ground, especially when you're pressing panic. You will get instant notifications on GEOs over LEOs. Subject to if LEOs are having a lot of satellites, then yes, you can quickly get that message through. Something very important, which I put together here. So if you have an asset in a metropolitan areas, like here in Dubai, we have a number of large buildings, then in that case, LEO satellites will perform much better. Oops, sorry about that. Will perform much better because there are a number of mesh satellites up there, and they can easily communicate with the LEO, whereas geostationary would require an open sky in order to get that communication through. So what basically is required in the IoT world is connectivity, which is very, very important. Either it is global SIM connectivity within the areas, if you are roaming, or if you are going remote locations, then you need to have a proper satellite connectivity. And to make that decision is very important. Now, there are so many satellite and IoT devices which are out there. You have satellite modems, you have hybrid solutions, you have devices which are solar-powered, and then there are a number of cellular IoT devices operating in multiple different verticals for cold chain monitoring, truck and trailer monitoring, reefer monitoring, and dry container monitoring solutions. And I'll be giving you some very interesting case studies. So here is a very interesting one for a security company in Saudi Arabia. We have been working on this project for over 7 years, and what they require is they want in their control center visibility of all of their vehicles. And they are all at the borders, and they want to get immediate visibility as and when there is an emergency. And once they press panic, they want to know where is that vehicle and which is the nearest vehicle available. And we help them by building a solution through one of the IoT devices, which is a hybrid solution. So when it's nearby GSM network area, it uses GSM, and when it moves to remote areas, it uses satellite. And we managed to get this through and have been very successful with this particular opportunity. Another interesting opportunity with an oil and gas company, and they had multiple different challenges. And one of the challenges they had is they're looking for fleet visibility, and at the same time, they're looking for driver behavior, driver monitoring. They want to know good driver versus bad driver, and all of that. So we managed to get that through one of our devices and solutions, which gives them complete visibility, and have grown this to over 7,000 plus vehicles. Here is quite an interesting solution, something what even Asim mentioned these days, as everything is moving towards OpEx. No one is interested in CapEx. And this is something which we did where we designed a solution in a way for a customer who has over 10,000 plus fleets, and they want to further monetize their existing solution. And at the same time, subcontractors, they were not interested in investing heavily on heavy machineries, on trucks and trailers. So we came up with a car-sharing solution for our oil and gas customer, and now they are using their own assets and monetizing from it and renting it to their subcontractors. And all of the telematics data is coming straight into their data acquisition center, which helps them better control their assets and at the same time get a full visibility on the drivers and their driver behaviors. This one is quite an interesting case study which we executed in March this year. Hapag-Lloyd is a very large container manufacturing company, and we have installed over 1 million containers with this IoT device, which is basically solar-powered and gives you complete visibility of your container when the door open and close. Even when they stack over each other, it gives a complete visibility in which row they are at. So it's quite an interesting case study, and any Hapag-Lloyd orange container which you will find out globally anywhere, you will be finding this product there. Another very interesting case study for aviation. So ORBCOMM is operating in every industry, and this is using one of our modems. So one of the engineering company designed a product called HeliTracker, and which is used in one of the motor gliders. And the two young women, they flew 40,000 kilometers across 23 countries, and the government wanted a minute-by-minute reporting, and they successfully managed to do that using ORBCOMM solution, and without even any single drop, they succeeded in doing that. Here is another interesting case study for one of the vessels here in UAE, where they were looking for a ship security alert solutions. And this is basically to deploy panic at multiple different decks. And in case of an emergency, they wanted a panic capability. And then they want a global connectivity depending on wherever they go, either it's North America, Latin America, or down in Middle East. So this is another interesting case study which we did, and it's quite an interesting one. Here is another oil and gas solution which we did in the US, and this is quite challenging in all oil and gas environments where they have multiple different compressors, generators, pumps, and analog pumps which they need to connect. And always they need to send someone down there in order to collect that information. So with the IoT devices, we managed to collect all of that information remotely and able to manage and get the necessary information for our customers to make quick decisions. And that's my last slide, basically, which is on agriculture. And in Brazil, I'm sure we all know that it's a 75-hectare land, and there are a lot of farmers out there with no GSM connectivity at all. So this is, they had a lot of challenges because they never knew about the weather conditions. They were never getting appropriate weathers in order to work on their production and for farming. With our IoT satellite solution, we managed to get the connectivity with weather stations and get them all the necessary the weather information for them to make right decisions. Yep, that's all what I got. So thank you very much.